So, so it is. I'm basically from Pakistan, and I'm working on genetic disorder in Pakistani population. So, the people there who are working in genetic disorders, they know that the cousin marriages are very high in Pakistan, and like we make collaborations with scientists all over the world, and we do molecular analysis of these families. So today I'm going to discuss if let me Today, I'm going to discuss a family that is with primordial dwarfism, muscle wasting, osteogenesis imperfecta, and ectodermal anomalies. So, this is we found this family in north part of Pakistan. So, this was basically a family in which there was the main disorder was primordial dwarfism. So, what is primordial dwarfism? It is a group of rare disorder characterized by severe growth retardation and microcephalic osteodysplastic primordial dwarfism is a very rare heterogeneous disorder with significant clinical and genetic heterogeneity. So when we found this family, we took their x-rays, photographs, we went to a clinician, and then we tried to make a diagnosis based on their clinical findings. And we get help from OMIM, from Geneva Foundation of Medical Research, and then we found that this is basically a primordial dwarfism, and there are two types of primordial dwarfism: MOPD1 type and MOPD2 type. MOPD1 type, more severe, it is more severe type. It is often includes cardiovascular, kidney, CNS anomalies with very early mortality, while MOPD2 less severe, it is less severe type, potentially normal to moderate IQ, may include truncal obesity and type 2 diabetes. And so, in our patient, we found in this family there were five affected and one unaffected sibling. Three severe affected siblings, and we give them number 401, 402, and 403. These were with primordial dwarfism. They also have microcephaly, but their IQ level was normal. There was failure to thrive, low muscle mass, craniofacial anomalies, including, and their dentition was also not normal. And there was also dysplastic and dislocated elbows and kidneys with contractures with multiple fractures, atypical features that are compared to classical MODP2, like atypical features are lack of truncal obesity, myoma disease, and sloping forehead and upward slanting palpebral fissures, microchondria, brachydactyly, short distal pharynges, and these symptoms were absent, and the clinical symptom that these patients share with MOPD siblings were intrauterine growth retardation. So in classic form of primordial dwarfism, there is an intrauterine growth retardation, and there are also a postnatal growth retardation. So in our patient, there was intrauterine growth restriction, there was postnatal growth restriction, there was delayed developmental milestone, there was failure to thrive, and there are different types of skeletal anomalies and multiple fractures. So all, and like in three siblings there was scoliosis, and now you can see their pictures in this. Like this patient, it's his age was like 20 years when we first visited this family, but he died few years ago, and we got all his clinical like details, and you can see their disproportionate for like short dwarfism. And like if we grossly classify dwarfism, then there are two types, like proportionate dwarfism and disproportionate. In disproportionate dwarfism, there is difference in the length of like legs and in limbs, right? So there are limbs were with different uh, lengths. So now I will tell you the detailed clinical findings. Like patient 402 were more severely affected. It was with bilateral tibia and fibula fractures, severe osteopenia, type 2 diabetes. And patient 401 also had muscle wasting, no fracture despite TMEM 38B mutation. So for this family, we did SNP genotyping and exome sequencing. So SN genotyping, we did it basically for like finding the homozygous region. And we got help from Yale University. They did SNP genotyping, and we found um, uh, like uh, the homozygous region, and then we got help from California University and another university from Canada. They did their exome sequencing, and exome sequencing in patient 401 we find TMEM38B mutation. In 404 patient, there was different types of like clinical features like minor, they were minorly squint, clinicodictally short stature, low weight, and they lacked MOPD features but was small. Patient 405, that was with congenital scoliosis, like in scoliosis there is a curvature in backbone. There was short stature, low weight, but no microcephaly. Tooth anomalies were also common. In 406, there was no clinical feature. Mother and father was also normal. So, from this line, like you can get an idea that there was a clinical heterogeneity. The basic finding was primordial dwarfism, but then every patient had different types of anomalies that were associated with it. So we were like hoping there will be genetic heterogeneity as well. There will be different genes involved in it. So their genetic diagnosis was very challenging, and we because we don't have funding right now for whole genome sequencing, so we are also thinking to do whole genome sequencing, but I'm just like presenting few genes in which we find mutation in whole exome sequencing. So the key identified genes in MOPD1 siblings were SENPE, POCIA, PCNT, TMEM38B, TMEM43, TYNC2H2. So we found mutations in these genes in these siblings with whole exome sequencing, and then we did genotype phenotype correlation, that which gene is performing like CENP. There was a mutation and it is linked to growth retardation, microcephaly, low weight, and narrow face. POC1A contributes to growth retardation, microcephaly, dysplastic joint, low muscle mass, craniofacial features. Then there was another gene, TMEM43. It can like mutation in this gene can explain muscle wasting, dysplastic joint, and contractures. These findings, these clinical findings are present in our patient. Then we found a mutation in this gene, and these were so there was a clinical and genetic correlation. Overall, multiple mutation contributed to complex phenotype. So actually, in primordial dwarfism, there were just few symptoms, but in our family, in each patient, there was different symptoms. So we found different mutation in different genes, and then we checked their like function on OMIM and on UCSC genome browser. So now we end up with multiple mutations in different genes and with clinical heterogeneity as well as genetic heterogeneity. So so what we are now trying to do is we are trying to find collaboration for like scientists that can give us that have whole exome sequencing facility in their lab, and they can do whole exome sequencing. Maybe we can narrow down these mutations. So the my purpose of presenting this presentation was also this: maybe someone is interested in doing whole genome sequencing. So at some point, like if I can talk to my other collaborators and we can send this to me for whole genome sequencing. So, like implication of findings, like from the present finding, we concluded that this is a complex genetic architecture, and the presence of multiple rare, potentially pathogenic mutation in this family is striking, right? So, overall, overlapping phenotype, diverse genetic cause, different genes contribute to seemingly similar MOPD-like features in three affected siblings. Challenging diagnosis, definitely. I'm working with different people, and we studied a lot of families, and I have many articles, but in this family was very challenging. Like we were working on it. It is like it has been more than 10 years, and every time when we do snip like it's narrowing down the homozygous region was also challenging. Then finding exact gene through whole exome sequencing was also challenging. Anyways, we ended up with these few genes, and now we are trying to find collaboration for whole genome sequencing for like this family. So if anyone is interested, so like he or she can contact with me and we can talk about this, because we also have many other families that are affected with these such kind of uh, uh, disorders, but we don't have collaborators for those families. So if someone is interested in doing exome sequencing or whole genome sequencing, so he or she can contact me, and my address is given on National University of Medical Sciences website. My email is also there. So that's all.